Hello everyone, I'm Kristen Oakes White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Well, I don't have to tell you where we are this week. Welcome to the Grand Canyon, where that view just speaks for itself. And let me tell you, it is cold. I hope you can see just how amazing this place is here from these shots, but I can tell you no picture will ever do this justice.
Not only is the view amazing, but you get a real sense of history here. The whole canyon was carved from water slowly over time. It certainly carved a place in the imaginations of natives and early pioneers in the U.S., and to this day, it remains a potent symbol of our natural national treasures. Throughout the show, we'll be showing you how the Grand Canyon and its surrounding areas have changed over the years, as well as the way it affects the food you eat and the clothes you wear.
You might be wondering why we decided to take This Week in Louisiana Agriculture to the Grand Canyon. Well, it wasn't just to see this place. The 98th annual meeting of the American Farm Bureau was held in Phoenix, Arizona, and this year's theme was Unite, and it is certainly appropriate after a turbulent election year and some tough times for agriculture. Later on in the show, we'll bring you the highlights from this year's convention and the way it brought farmers and ranchers together.
We saw the Unite theme happen in Gilbert, Arizona, a small community just southwest of Phoenix, built around agriculture. In fact, Gilbert produced so much alfalfa hay for the U.S. cavalry during World War I, it became known as the hay shipping capital of the United States. While there are still fields of alfalfa to be found around Gilbert, the town's incredible growth in recent decades has changed the landscape dramatically. TWILA's Carl Wiggers takes us to one of the remaining farms that is there, growing more than meets the eye.
At the surface, this neighborhood looks like any quiet, well-kept, patriotic subdivision. But when you look from above, you see the heart of this community, the farm. This community and farm is known across the country as Agritopia. Joe Johnston, the visionary behind Agritopia, grew up on this land, but the farm he grew up on was much different.
It was all cotton and wheat, barley, even sugar beets, those sorts of things. It was the common commercial crops of the day. Well, it was homesteaded in 1927 and was a production farm through about the year 2000.
As the town of Gilbert grew towards the farm, Johnston began growing the farm in a new direction.
Around 1998, we started to see where the track of the freeway was going to go and it was going to bisect the farm. So we started thinking, well, what should we do? Should we sell? What should we do? How would we be good stewards of the land? And so in 1999, we started the land plan for Agritopia, talking about the Agra part, which is preserving urban agriculture, the Topia part, which is creating the ideal community from our point of view. And so 1999 really is when we started, so what is that? That's almost 18 years ago.
To make sure the farm remained a central part of Agritopia, Johnston designed the entire community around the farm.
We have 10 to 12 acres in production.
In these rows, you'll find pretty much every vegetable under the sun, from beets and carrots to cauliflower and broccoli, as well as leafy plants like lettuce and spinach. However, for Johnston, the commercial farm is only part of what makes this place so special.
We do have more than just commercial production, and because a lot of people want to go deeper than that. Yes, they want to buy local food, but some of them want to produce their own local food. And so the community garden is a place where that happens.
This community garden acts as a classroom for all ages, which is part of Johnston's design of the farm.
We have really three pillars here for our agriculture: production, beauty, and education. And so this community garden is a part of that education process. There's one plot that's got like 4 families with a bunch of little kids. And as a life lesson for kids to be able to learn, seasonality and patience and weeds. And, we need to get the weeds out of our own life.
Johnston's son, William, is the business manager here at Agritopia. The farm looks different today, but William is excited to teach those same lessons to his kids today on this farm.
I think about the hard work that we put in when we were little kids, getting paid 50 cents an hour, helping with irrigation, and how much I learned through that and the value of hard work. And for my kids, having them pull weeds, it's one of the best lessons they'll ever learn in life.
The idea is you want to make sure that people from all ages and all stages feel comfortable and design in accidental meetings for them and that sort of thing so that they slowly get to know each other without forcing it.
As you can see, this farm is growing this community, and a way that you can be a part of Agritopia is by visiting and going to Joe's Farm Grill right across the road, and that's where we're going to find our very own Avery Davidson.
Carl, thank you for showing us where everything is grown here at Agritopia, but now I'm going to show you just how good it all tastes, and also show you that Joe's Farm Grill is actually the idea that gave birth to Agritopia. It is the heart of Agritopia, where residents and tourists come to share good times over great food. It is Joe's Farm Grill.
It is a meeting place, an intersection between farming and agriculture, knowing where your food comes from, but accessible. It's the food of our area, because Louisiana is great because it has some really interesting cultures, and the way they're blended together is fantastic, and the way that it's really affected the food scene is marvelous. Here we have people from all walks of life. Town of Gilbert was 5,000 people when I grew up here. Now it's 250,000 people. People from California and Chicago and people from all different parts of the country have come here. And so we have kind of the common food of the United States here.
Opened in 2006, Joe's Farm Grill is where you can get food grown on this farm cooked up into American fast food fare.
We wanted to design a farm-to-table restaurant or farm-by-table restaurant that was for the common folk, that everybody could enjoy, and so hence the Farm Grill.
The food here is about as local as it gets.
We've used local natural beef from Arizona since day one. We've used as much produce as the farm from day one.
And the locals say they love Joe's Farm Grill.
The cleanliness, the fresh food, just everything about it.
You know, the food was great. I got I believe it was the Southwest burger. So, great burger, avocado, and a little bit of everything else.
Everything else is quite important, because without Joe's Farm Grill, there might not be everything else around Agritopia.
The idea for doing the Farm Grill is what started the idea for Agritopia. Actually then, the building of the homes and all the other things around Agritopia and the carving out of the urban farm happened about 5 years prior, started about 5 years prior to the Farm Grill. And then once we had enough people in place to support the restaurant, then the Farm Grill was done in 2006.
Just like Agritopia, Joe's Farm Grill is expanding. Johnston says he's going to convert some of the outdoor eating space into enclosed dining areas. Oh, and Kristen, if you want a craft beer to wash down that food, and you also want a nice thank you card made from custom paper, and you want to have a rifle built, because I know how angry you get with Landon, you can get all of that united under one roof, just steps away from Joe's Farm Grill. It's at a place called Bar None. It's an old grain storage building built in the 1950s that Johnston converted into a business incubator for entrepreneurs. And it really is cool. And there's a play on words. It's Bar None, but if you spelled out all one word, so it's also Barn One.
And I saw Carl brought me there yesterday, and it is one of the neatest things that I've seen since we've been here. Like you said, they had that, what I was really impressed with was that original letterpress.
Yeah.
You just don't see those too often. It was a really cool place.
Well, I thought it was cool seeing a machine shop right next to a place where you can get custom paper. I was like, who does this?
And get your hair cut.
And get your hair cut. Did you get your hair did?
No, didn't. Probably need to after this. Well, you know we can't go anywhere without finding something good to eat. So this week we're going from Baton Rouge to Sedona Rouge. Located high in the beautiful mountains between Phoenix and the Grand Canyon, we found a restaurant where Chef Ron Moeller has already made a name for himself making farm-to-table dishes for the biggest names in Hollywood and Washington. Neil Melanson takes us to the Red Rocks of Sedona, where they're not only growing fresh produce, but fresh opportunities for agriculture.
The Red Rocks of Sedona are known worldwide for their scenic beauty, crystal content, and of course, how red they are. It's a town known for its free spirit and adventuring. Here at Red's Restaurant at the Sedona Rouge, Executive Chef Ron Moeller is working to make Sedona known for something else: farm fresh produce that supports local farmers.
I'm going to grab some great local pea shoots, pea tendrils from Arizona Sweet Greens, and we have some violas, some really nice colorful flowers. Again, sometimes people are really excited. They're like, hey, that looks great. I'm like, oh, it's also edible. I'm going to toss that in.
Chef Moeller has fully brought the farm-to-table experience to Red's Restaurant. He works with farmers to bring in those fresh ingredients, and now they're asking the chef what he wants for them to grow next season. Not only are farmers coming to him, but a hungry crowd as well.
There is a lot of people who are just becoming more culinary adventurous, wanting to try new things. So that's where we can really take advantage of the abundance of the local farms here and really create some great dishes.
Of course, everyone knows that with fish, freshness is key. Nobody wants old fish. Well, the same thing is actually true with greens. We're just not used to it because most of our greens are trucked in. They're days or even weeks old. But with anything, it's just freshness is the key ingredient with that, and that's why I'm so excited to taste the stuff that's just come out of these Arizona fields. Even these flowers that look so beautiful in the presentation, but they're also edible. Let me get this in here. See, not only are the greens well paired presentation-wise with the fish, but the taste, that fresh flavor really accentuates the fish and brings that out. You probably noticed the nice glass of white wine that pairs so well with this fine meal Chef Mueller prepared for me. He's also pairing with the local Alcantara winery here in the Verde Valley, not far from Sedona. These vineyards are a recent development in Arizona, which hopes to become as famous for its wine as their next-door neighbors in California. Alcantara was started in 2005 and has 16 varieties of grapes over 13 acres, with plans to double or triple that amount. Alcantara winery tasting manager Carrie Loftus says the demand is certainly there.
We work with several locations in the Sedona and Flagstaff area, restaurants, wine bars, other tasting rooms up there. And the word of mouth is great. People see them there and then they want to come out here and see the vineyard.
It's a scenic view for sure where the Verde River and Oak Creek meet. This group from the Farm Bureau Convention united from all over the country for this tour in their passion for both wine and agriculture. The experience leaves a great taste in the mouths of those who stopped by and definitely made these travelers feel like home, no matter where they came from. From the Red Rocks of Sedona, Arizona, I'm Neil Melanson for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
If you'd like a taste of what Chef Mueller is cooking up or taste some of those new Arizona wines, we've got the links on our website at twilatv.org. And Avery, Neil better be glad he's off exploring the Grand Canyon somewhere, because I want to know why he didn't bring us any of that wine.
I can tell you why. It was because while we were there, it was a Farm Bureau group who was touring, and I think there might have been someone from Louisiana, because I think they drank all the wine. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It would only be Louisiana Farm Bureau members who do that, though.
Well, there's plenty of good food up here near the Grand Canyon. El Tovar, a lodge built at the edge of the canyon in 1905 when the Santa Fe rail line came to it.
More than 100 years later, the lodge is not only still going, but it is an outstanding hotel with all of the modern conveniences. It was built that way originally, with electric lights powered by a steam generator, something that many hotels in big cities of the time may not have had. Even back then, they knew this would be a big stop for tourists sitting almost right on top of the south rim of the Grand Canyon. It guarantees great views because that's where we are right now. El Tovar is right behind the camera, and this is the view that you have from El Tovar.
Well then, just like now, there was a problem. The Grand Canyon isn't exactly close to major cities. Food and water had to be originally trucked here from as far as 120 miles away. The proprietors quickly realized that they would need to grow their own supplies, so they started with greenhouses growing fresh fruits and vegetables. At one time, they even had their own dairy operation here. Now, the U.S. Park Service is using greenhouses to grow plants to replace those lost due to development along the rim of the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon is the one great sight every American should see. That's what President Teddy Roosevelt said. While Mother Nature created it, it's up to the women and men who work for the National Park Service to maintain it. A big part of that maintenance is the Grand Canyon's revegetation program.
So this is where it all begins.
Asa Jensen is the native plant nursery manager. She's part of a team of 20 or so who gather plants and seeds from the 5 life zones in the Grand Canyon, clean and categorize them according to where they grow, be it South Rim, North Rim, or Inner Canyon, and then grow the plants used to replace ones destroyed by man or wildlife.
We can only do so much because we're a small crew.
Right.
And we do everything by hand. We have no machinery. We go out into the field, and it's, a lot of us, it was what we enjoy the most, being out, in the woods or on the rim, in the canyon, and collecting by hand.
This right here is what a revegetation project looks like. This one is outside of El Tovar, the oldest hotel on the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Jensen says a project like this spans 5 years with regular waterings throughout the growing process.
Part of our goal is to have it look like we weren't even there. We want to plant native plants. We want it to look natural. We want it to look how it's supposed to look if you know, we hadn't built a hotel or built a sidewalk, or you know, we want to preserve that look of the canyon.
It's also about preserving endangered plants. The century milk vetch is one such plant. Jensen says the only place in the world it grows is around the Grand Canyon.
This plant right here grows right on the edge of the Grand Canyon. We have populations on the North Rim and the South Rim, and we have what we call reintroduction sites, so we're actually growing these plants to plant out.
This little one right here is about a year old, and that is as big as it gets. So you can see why visitors may not even see the century milk vetch and step on it. Helping Jensen and her team save the century milk vetch and grow the plants at the Grand Canyon is this new greenhouse. Temperatures from the rim to the river at the Grand Canyon can vary 20 degrees Fahrenheit. This greenhouse is set up to replicate that variation.
With our new greenhouse, we have the ability to section off a region for the inner canyon plants, so we're able to have a warmer and more humid climate for those plants, but it's really challenging to find the right temperature, humidity for North Rim plants and South Rim plants, you know, all in one spot.
So a lot of what Jensen does is like farming. And just like a farmer, keeping the Grand Canyon beautiful is more than a job to Jensen. It's a calling.
Well, I love growing plants. That's one of my passions. I love taking care of them, and being a part of this program is really rewarding because I get to see them, you know, germinating to being out in the field and flowering and thriving, and you know, I get to see plants all over the canyon that, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but that I actually have, like, I can remember them, and I remember where they came from, and I remember collecting the seed, and you know, I've only been here for 4 years, but I've been able to see that full cycle, and it's really rewarding.
I know now I look down anywhere I'm walking around the Grand Canyon, all because of those endangered plants, and I don't want to step on them. And they have something like this. The National Park Service has this at almost every major national park, but here at the Grand Canyon, they really have that diversity. You know, 5 different levels of life growing all in this area. It's absolutely amazing.
One of the many natural wonders of this place. Well, still to come on TWILA, we're going to the 98th Annual Convention of the American Farm Bureau. We'll take a look at some of the highlights, plus what our Louisiana delegation thought of this year's event. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us on this special edition of TWILA from the Grand Canyon National Park. We're enjoying the lovely views here today, but sometimes the canyon is fogged in due to weather, and we were actually supposed to get some rain and snow, but we instead got sleet pounding us in the face, as you saw just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to read a teleprompter when the ice is being hurtled at your eyes at 21 miles an hour. Well, weather was a big topic of conversation at this year's American Farm Bureau convention as well. Not just because it was 70 degrees during the day in Phoenix, but because weather plays such a big role in agriculture. It certainly was the talk of the Louisiana Farm Bureau delegation, who suffered through weather-related disasters no matter what part of the state they came from. With a new administration and a new farm bill on the horizon, they wanted to know what policies would be shaping their farms back home. This was Zippy Duvall's first convention as American Farm Bureau president, and told the crowd he was optimistic that the new tone in Washington would favor less regulations on agriculture.
On this issue, just like in ag labor, many of our farmers have told me that if you don't fix this one, the rest of them's not going to matter.
At the same time, Duvall said he would be advocating for foreign workers to be able to enter the U.S. legally, as American agriculture was heavily dependent upon migrant labor.
And it's time for American people and the leaders in Washington to decide whether they're going to let us import our labor, or are they going to have to import their food to the people of this country?
Another feature of the convention is the Idea Ag trade show, where booths from across the ag industry could set up and show what new innovations were coming up in agriculture.
It's always interesting to see what's next, what they're coming up with, and yes, it's amazing.
Well, it's always great to see what's new in the equipment lines from Case, John Deere. Of course, we're still always got to walk through and look at the Chevrolet trucks and the Suburbans, and just about everything here is something that us as a producer or Farm Bureau member is a product we like, something we're going to use in our own operation.
Members of Louisiana's delegation not only got a chance to see what's ahead, but think about what the convention meant to them.
It's fantastic. I see people here that I've seen and met 20 years ago through the YF&R program, and some old committee members I've had the opportunity to spend some time with friends from Arkansas, from different commodity boards I've had the opportunity to serve on. So it's a family venture in a variety of different ways.
Well, still to come on This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, we'll look at what you were posting online during the 98th annual meeting of the American Farm Bureau Federation.
Stay with us. We're kicking off 2017 with a special convention edition of Trending on TWILA. We're going online to show you what people are posting on social media from the 98th annual convention in Phoenix.
And more than ever before, people plugged into Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter to share their convention experience using the hashtag AFBF17.
From state YF&R winners to the stunning Phoenix skyline, Farm Bureau members from across the country posted their convention photos all over social media.
Celebrity photo ops popped up on every corner during the convention, from the Texas Tenors to Miss America Savvy Shields. Farm Bureau members were proud to share their pics with all of the convention's special guests.
But no one drew as much attention as the keynote speakers, the father-son team of Archie and Peyton Manning. Folks from across the audience showed their team spirit by sporting jerseys, signs, and plenty of cheers as the Manning duo took to the stage for the AFBF closing session. Lots of happy fans like Jonna Miller even got a chance to take a photo with the Mannings. She loves the Broncos.
Outside of the Phoenix Convention Center, the Arizona scenery took the prize for the most popular trending topic during this year's convention.
From cactus plants in red mountains to hydroponic tomatoes and fields of roses, it was obvious that Farm Bureau members from across the country enjoyed their time here in the Grand Canyon state.
Speaking of the Grand Canyon and a very cold Grand Canyon today, lots of Farm Bureau members made the 3-hour drive north to cross the amazing spot off their bucket list.
We saw some breathtaking photos all over social media as folks shared their trip to this national park. The Payne family from Louisiana took a trip to see the canyon. Scott Wiggers posted this photo with the caption, "I wonder what a person who never saw pictures thought the first time they saw it."
And Scott was spot on. It's hard to put into words just how glorious this place truly is and how cold it is right now. It's definitely a place that you need to see before you die.
Social media allows Farm Bureau members who couldn't make it to the convention to experience almost all of the events here in real time with just the click of a button.
To see all of our social media coverage from the AFBF convention, just visit our website at twilatv.org.
Now we will move to our first trending trivia of the year. What feature is unique about Grand Canyon rattlesnakes? A, they are non-venomous. B, they are pink in color. Or C, they are smaller in size.
To enter this week's trivia contest, simply log on to your Facebook or Twitter account and post your answer with the hashtag TWILATrivia. And we will select one winner to receive a special prize pack with lots of souvenirs from our trip to Arizona, including prizes from right here at the Grand Canyon.
Well, that does it for this special edition of TWILA from the Grand Canyon National Park. We'd like to thank the National Park Service for allowing us to shoot here and the hospitality extended here at El Tovar. Emily Davis with the National Park Service, absolutely instrumental in us allowing us to be here, so thank you, Emily. If ever you go and plan a Grand Canyon vacation, El Tovar, as you can tell, this is the spot to stay, sleet and all.
Well, we're also looking forward to the next two American Farm Bureau conventions. Next year, Nashville, Tennessee will play host, but for the American Farm Bureau Centennial, the meeting comes home to New Orleans, Louisiana. Needless to say, we're really excited and looking forward to that.
Well, until our next show, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Kristen even Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get this all on Snapchat for you today. For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.